Every object, gesture, and shape you see around you has a story, one that's probably older and stranger than you'd ever imagine. From plants once used for murder, now symbolizing love, to ancient gods inspiring emojis, symbolism connects everything. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're uncovering 25 mysterious symbols and the unbelievable stories behind them. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more hidden history deep dives. Let's begin. 25. Mistletoe. From murder to love. Once upon a time, mistletoe wasn't about kissing under it. It was about killing gods. In Norse mythology, the goddess Frigg tried to protect her son Balder by making every creature promise not to harm him. She forgot one: mistletoe. Loki carved a spear from it and killed Balder. When he was later revived, Frigg declared mistletoe sacred, no longer a weapon, but a symbol of peace and love. Centuries later, warriors paused fights beneath it, and druids called it the plant of life. England later turned it into a Christmas tradition. One kiss per berry until they were gone. Romantic, and a little bit dark. 24. Crossing your fingers. This gesture is older than Christianity. In ancient Europe, people believed the sign of a cross could trap good spirits and make wishes come true. Early Christians later used it secretly to show faith when open worship was dangerous. Over time, crossing your own fingers became a solo charm for luck, and crossing them behind your back became a clever way to cancel promises while begging divine forgiveness. 23. The Phoenix. Fire, death, and rebirth. The phoenix burns itself to ashes and rises again, and nearly every culture has its own version. Egyptians spoke of the Bennu, a heron-like bird born from sunlight and symbolizing renewal. The Greeks turned it into the fiery red-gold bird that dies and resurrects in its own flames. In China, the Fenghuang was a phoenix of balance and virtue, often paired with a dragon for harmony. Wherever it appears, the message is timeless. From destruction comes life. 22. Lucky and unlucky numbers. Numbers carry stories too. In the West, 13 means bad luck, a legacy from Loki being the uninvited 13th guest at a divine feast, and Judas being the 13th at the Last Supper. But in Italy, 13 means fortune. There, 17 is the curse number. When written as 17, it can be rearranged to Vixi, Latin for I have lived, or I'm dead. In China and Japan, the number 4 sounds like death, so many buildings skip the 4th floor entirely. Superstition or coincidence? You decide.
21. The Three Wise Monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. But this didn't start as a meme. The carving first appeared at Japan's Nikko Toshogu Shrine, symbolizing purity of mind. Its message? Avoid corruption, don't look at evil, don't listen to gossip, and don't speak harm. The saying came from Buddhist teachings on restraint, and centuries later, those 3 monkeys became a universal lesson, now reimagined as emojis. 20. Bats. Bad omen or good luck? In Europe, bats got a bad reputation, linked to witches and vampires, because they only flew at night. But in China, bats symbolize blessings. The word for bat, fu, sounds like the word for happiness, and 5 bats together, wu fu, represent the 5 blessings: long life, wealth, health, virtue, and peace. So while the West feared them, the East saw them as living good omens. 19. Lady Justice. Her scales represent fairness, her sword symbolizes authority, and her blindfold, impartiality. But her roots trace back thousands of years. In Egypt, she was Ma'at, the goddess of truth and order. The Greeks called her Themis, the Romans Justitia. Interestingly, her blindfold once meant ignorance, later reinterpreted to show that justice should see no wealth, power, or fame. She's everywhere law is practiced, the eternal balance between power and fairness. 18. The pineapple, the royal welcome. When Columbus reached the Caribbean, he found pineapples hanging by village entrances, a sign of hospitality. Europeans brought them home, and they became status symbols. The fruit was so rare that nobles would rent pineapples to display at banquets. In colonial America, returning sea captains placed a pineapple on their porch to announce they were home, and everyone was invited. Today, the pineapple still means welcome. 17. The V sign. Peace or insult depends how you flip it. During World War II, Winston Churchill used the V sign for victory. But when you turn your hand the other way, palm inward, it's an obscene gesture in Britain. By the 1960s,
The V sign was reborn as the international symbol of peace, immortalized by hippies and activists alike. 16. The heart shape. No, it doesn't actually look like a real heart, but its history is fascinating. Some say it came from the extinct North African plant Silphium, used as medicine and contraception. Its seed pods looked heart-shaped, and the symbol spread on coins. Others believe it was an artist's attempt at drawing a human heart, based on bad anatomy notes. Whatever the truth, the heart became the ultimate emblem of love, devotion, and desire.
15. The red thread of fate. In Chinese and Japanese folklore, an invisible red string ties you to your soulmate, a connection that can stretch or tangle but never break. The god Yue Lao ties these threads in people's sleep, linking destined lovers forever. In Japan, it runs from the thumb to another's pinky. You'll find it in anime, dramas, and jewelry, an ancient version of meant to be. 14. Gargoyles. They're not just creepy stone monsters, they were medieval plumbing. Gargoyles were carved to channel rainwater away from cathedrals, spitting water from their mouths. But beyond function, they symbolized protection. People believed their terrifying faces scared off evil spirits. Fun fact, if the statue doesn't spout water, it's not a gargoyle. It's a grotesque. 13. The Ankh, the key of life. One of Egypt's most sacred symbols, the Ankh represented breath, sunlight, and eternal life. Pharaohs were often depicted holding it to their lips, symbolizing divine air. It bridged heaven and earth, life and afterlife. Even today, it's seen as a timeless emblem of vitality and spiritual energy. 12. The lotus flower. Growing from muddy waters yet blooming pure, the lotus became the global symbol of enlightenment. Egyptians linked it to rebirth, as blue lotuses opened at sunrise and closed at dusk. In Hinduism, gods like Vishnu and Lakshmi sit upon lotuses, untouched by the world's chaos. For Buddhists, it's the soul's journey, rising through ignorance toward awakening. 11. The broken arrow. To some Native American tribes, breaking an arrow after battle symbolized peace, a promise that weapons would rest. During early colonial treaties, leaders broke arrows together to mark the end of bloodshed. Today, the broken arrow still stands for reconciliation and forgiveness, a beautiful reminder that strength isn't always in the fight, but in the peace that follows. 10. The Phrygian cap. That red, floppy hat you've seen on revolutionary posters? It's the Phrygian cap, an ancient symbol of freedom.
Originally worn in Anatolia, it became the hat of freed Roman slaves. During the French and American revolutions, it evolved into a badge of liberty, still worn by Marianne, the personification of France today.
9. The world tree. From Norse Yggdrasil to the Mayan Ceiba, nearly every culture saw a tree as the backbone of creation. Its roots reach the underworld, its branches touch the heavens. It represents connection between life, death, gods, and humans. Every culture drew it differently, but its meaning was always the same. All life is one. 8. The Green Man. A face of leaves carved into cathedrals and fountains, part man, part forest. The Green Man dates back to pagan nature worship and symbolizes rebirth through the changing seasons. Christian churches adopted him to bridge faith and folklore, a quiet tribute to nature's eternal renewal. 7. Ouroboros, the serpent that eats its tail. An ancient Egyptian and Greek symbol, the Ouroboros represents infinity, life feeding death, death feeding life. It encircled tombs, scrolls, and even alchemical diagrams, showing how everything transforms but never truly ends. In modern science and philosophy, it still reminds us that existence is cyclical. Everything returns to itself. 6. The crescent moon and star. Long before it became associated with Islam, the crescent and star symbolized lunar deities in Mesopotamia. It represented cycles, time, and light in darkness. Later adopted by the Greeks and Romans for goddesses Artemis and Diana, it eventually appeared on Ottoman flags, and today remains a powerful emblem of faith and guidance. 5. Maneki Neko, the lucky cat. You've seen it waving in shops. Japan's Maneki Neko brings fortune. The legend says a cat once beckoned a samurai into a temple moments before lightning struck where he stood. Different paw positions mean different luck. Left for customers, right for wealth, both for protection. Every color carries its own blessing, making this little cat a universal symbol of prosperity. 4. The handshake. More than a greeting, it's a 3,000-year-old peace signal. By offering your empty right hand, you showed you carried no weapon. Ancient Assyrians, Greeks, and Romans used it to seal alliances and treaties. It later evolved into a gesture of equality and respect, a universal sign of trust. 3. The scarab beetle. Inspired by the humble dung beetle, Egyptians saw divine meaning in its daily labor. As the beetle rolled its ball of earth, they imagined it pushing the sun across the sky. It became a sacred emblem of rebirth and transformation, buried with the dead to ensure resurrection in the afterlife. 2. The peacock, the bird of immortality and majesty. In India, it symbolized divine beauty and pride. Even emperors shaped thrones after its feathers. In Greece, Hera gave it its famous eyes after her watchman Argus died. In China, the same eyes represent protection and dignity. No matter the culture, the peacock is a symbol of splendor, vigilance, and rebirth. 1. The Irish Claddagh ring. 2 hands, a crowned heart, a symbol of love, loyalty, and friendship. Born from the story of Richard Joyce, an Irishman enslaved by pirates
who returned home years later as a goldsmith. He designed the ring as a tribute to faith and devotion. 2 hands for friendship, a heart for love, and a crown for loyalty. Centuries later, it remains a cherished heirloom passed through generations. And there you have it, 25 symbols hiding thousands of years of meaning. Which one surprised you the most? Drop your answer in the comments. And here's a quick trivia challenge before you go. Which fruit became so rare and valuable in Europe that people actually rented it just to show off at dinner parties? Was it A. Mango, B. Papaya, C. Pomegranate, D. Pineapple? Comment your guess below. And if you enjoyed today's deep dive, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more fascinating stories hidden in plain sight. Until next time, stay curious, stay inspired,